The school board recently found it had $5 million more than it had anticipated in its budget. How would you spend a sudden influx of $5 million?
Well, okay, back in June, the district, every year, at the end of the year, we have to hand out our layout notices to teachers. And each year, when we fixed our budget, the state has cut us or has held a threat of cut over our budget. But we still have to sign our contracts and have our employees in May, and they'll allow us to extend our budget until June. And so when I look at that $5 million magically showing it's up, it's because the staff of the district was very fiscally prudent in making sure that they hired people that they weren't going to be able to pay next year. You have to remember that, once again, we've been cut $44 million in 4 years. And one of the other travesties of California finance for California schools is that we've faced deferred payments. That means we were promised money in January, and we've had to pay teachers since January all the way through June, and we didn't get our money until July. Many districts in the state of California have to borrow money. So not only are they borrowing money, but they're getting taxed further because then they have to pay interest on the money they borrow, and that comes out of the general fund. So when I look at this issue, it's really an important one. And shucks, I just lost my thought. Can you tell me again?
So it's a windfall question, I guess. School board recently found it at $5 million more.
Yeah, so it's a windfall. And that's good because, in reality, one of the problems we faced down the line in 3 years is that we're looking at a deficit spending budget come up. And one of the things that's kept class size reduction, kept adult ed, only ones in the area, adult ed, has been prudent fiscal management of your resources. So if I find $5 million, that's on top of other millions that we found that the state controller didn't last year, by the way. I think it's wise management of your assets, really. And you should be happy that people like Antonio are in there doing it.
Okay, Mr. McDermott.
We've gotten so many phone calls already about what to do with that extra $5 million. One of them is, do we save it in case the governor's budget doesn't pass? We put money aside to cover the hole that's going to create, but what about year 2 and year 3? We get phone calls from Hercules saying, we need an extra police officer on the middle school campus. We get calls from the city of San Pablo, the only city that pays for its police force on our campus. Every other school, we pay for the police force. And we ask ourselves, is that a question of equity? Of all the cities in West County, San Pablo is the only one that pays for its police. What do we do with the $5 million? God, I wish we could give it to salaries, but it won't go that far for salaries. I want to be fiscally prudent as we've been for the last 4 years and wait until after the election in November, and hopefully the governor's measure will pass. Then we can decide what to do with the $5 million.
Mr. Brooks.
Absolutely, I would spend it on preparing for the implementation of the Common Core standards and then the smart balance assessments that are coming up. I don't think we probably have enough capacity at this point to implement well, and that could hamper further results later on down the line. Could be a sizable amount of time before we actually get a handle on what the Common Core means for us. I think this is a great opportunity. It's a godsend to really take control of this tremendous challenge of meeting the Common Core curriculum goals.
Mr.
Actually, I'm of the view that
if you were to have a windfall such as this, it's a great opportunity to hire more teachers, train teachers to do all of the above that everybody's talked about. But we have lost great young teachers over the last 10, 12, 15 years, and I know that for a fact as a serving principal. You can't afford to lose good teachers if you're going to have good education going on your campus. It's very important that we continue to try to hire people that are going to be effective educators, help us with Common Core standards, help our students succeed. So if I had a windfall and for some reason I had the ability to just say where that went, I'd go out and try and find some really good teachers for our students, because that's really what matters.